So sorry, everyone. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. The conversation would start in 3 minutes. We're just waiting for a couple more people and trying to get the speakers settled into the Zoom meeting. Thank you very much for your patience. Good morning, distinguished guests, speakers, startup founders, innovators, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the 2026 ONDI service interns, I warmly welcome you to today's webinar titled How ONDI Supports Startups, the Opportunities, Programs, and Growth Distinguished guests, Pathways. Speakers, startup founders, innovators, ladies and gentlemen. We are honored to have our distinguished speakers with us today and grateful for everyone joining us across Nigeria and from wherever they are. We appreciate your time and interest in learning more about the opportunities available through the Office of Nigerian Digital Innovation. My name is Abdurrahman Yari, and I'll be a moderator for today's session. First things first, I would please love for the speakers to individually introduce themselves and their roles at ONDI so that we get things set up and we get to know what they'll be helping us with today.
Okay, I think I'll go first. Good morning, everyone. My name is Abdul Halim Salisu Shehu, and I work with Office for Nigerian Digital Innovation. I work as a legal officer, working under compliance and monitoring desk. It's good to be here. Thank you. Okay, sorry, I was asked to speak about legal compliance for startups.
Okay, I think I can go next. Hope I'm audible. Good morning, everyone. My name is Victor Eji, and I'm a program officer here at ONDI. I'm from the team lead for innovation and entrepreneurship desk here in ONDI. And on the session today, I will speak on how ONDI supports startups, the opportunities, programs, and growth pathways that is organized by ONDI. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could we please have Mr. Hassan? We have Mr. Hassan introducing himself and Mr. Jones and
We can't hear you anymore.
okay, in a little bit, would have our first speaker. Our first speaker is going to give an opening remark on how ONDI's commitment to innovation and entrepreneurship. They would also give an overview of ONDI's role in Nigeria's SME ecosystem.
Hello, is it the network? It's like you're breaking.
Forgive me. Then the network was off for a bit, but I think we're back. The Office of Digital Innovation is an initiative under the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. It is dedicated to strengthening Nigeria's digital innovation ecosystem. So basically, ONDI supports startups, entrepreneurs, innovators, and technology-driven businesses through their programs to promote capacity. It's the best way for the youth to expand their ways. It gives us access and partnerships, and especially mentorship to access opportunities on startups and starting up whatever business it is that's related to tech. Its mission is primarily to create an enabling environment where innovative ideas can grow into sustainable businesses, which is contributing to Nigeria's digital economy and the national development. So on today's webinar is primarily focused on helping founders, innovators, aspiring entrepreneurs, and members of the public to better understand how ONDI fulfills the mission and how startups can benefit from its programs and initiatives, and startup services. The first speaker we have is going to talk to us about how he's going to give us an overview. He's going to give us an overview of what the role ONDI is playing when it comes to Nigeria's ecosystem. And it's going to tell us specifically its mission to innovation and entrepreneurship. The first person we have speaking is Mr. Emeka. Mr. Emeka, please, you have the floor. Please do introduce yourself, and we'd love to get to know who you are first.
We can't hear him.
Emeka, if you could hear us, you have the floor. We'd love to get your input.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, clearly.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Chukwemeka, Programs Operations Officer here at ONDI. On this call, I'll be representing the National Coordinator.
Okay, thank you very, very much.
Can you all hear?
Yeah, we could all hear you. Thank you very much. So you have the floor. Please, thank you for the wonderful introduction, and thank you for representing the NC. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Distinguished guests, partners, innovators, and friends of the Nigerian digital ecosystem, good morning to you all. My name once again is Chukwemeka, and I bring you warm greetings from the National Coordinator of the Office for Nigerian Digital Innovation, Mrs. Victoria Fabumi, on whose behalf I have the honor of delivering these remarks today. So let me begin with a simple truth. Nigeria's greatest resource is not beneath our soil. It is in our people, in the young founder in Yaba refining her third prototype, in the developer in Kano building solutions for farmers he has never met, in the student in Enugu who believes her idea can change how Nigerians live, learn, and trade. Our job here at ONDI is to make sure that belief is never wasted. The Office for Nigerian Digital Innovation exists for one purpose: to translate the promise of the Nigerian Startup Act into real opportunity. And what does that mean? That means startups that are supported, not just celebrated. Founders who can access capital, not just applause. An ecosystem where regulation enables innovation rather than obstructs it. Through initiatives like iHatch, we are incubating startups from idea to market and standing with them beyond graduation, because we know the hardest part of the journey often begins after the spotlight fades. And through our partnerships, both local and international, we are ensuring that Nigerian innovation is connected to global knowledge, global capital, and global markets. But let me be clear, government cannot innovate alone, and it should not even try. Our commitment is to be an enabler, to convene, to de-risk, and to open doors, and then to get out of the way of the brilliance in this room. So today, I invite you to see ONDI not as an office, but as a partner. Challenge us, collaborate with us, hold us accountable, because the future we are building in Nigeria that exports solutions, not just talent, can only be built together. On behalf of the National Coordinator, thank you for being here, and I wish us all a truly productive session. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Emeka. That was an amazing one. Thank you very much for the message. It was very received. For that, and thank you a lot for the insightful presentation and for sharing the National Coordinator's message, as well as ONDI's strategic vision. We sincerely appreciate your time, but we still hope that you'd stay with us to the point where we'd have the question and answer session at the end of this. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope we're beginning to gain a clear understanding of ONDI's role in driving digital innovation and supporting the growth of startups across Nigeria. As we've just heard the ONDI's vision and strategic direction, our next speaker will help us understand how that vision is translated into practical programs and initiatives that support startups and innovators across the country. Our next speaker serves as a staff as well at ONDI. He plays a key role in developing programs, fostering partnerships, and strengthening Nigeria's innovation ecosystem. Please join me as we welcome Mr. Victor as he speaks on innovation strategy. And Mr. Victor, the floor is yours.
Good morning once again, everyone. I'd like to have a thumbs up if I'm audible, please.
So sorry, say that again.
I'd like to have a thumbs up if I'm audible. I didn't get any thumbs up, so that meant to me that everybody could hear me. Okay, thank you, Abdul Halim. Okay. So we have been introduced. My colleague Emeka has spoken about what is in our very core, what we're trying to achieve as an organization, as an office. And around that work stream, we definitely need a strategy with which to engage people we are trying to reach, engage ecosystem players across the country and sometimes across the globe. The strategy we use at ONDI is we develop programs, different programs as clearly described in the Nigerian Startup Act. Of course, a lot of the work we do, if not all of the work we do, is guided by the Nigerian Startup Act. And if there's anything we do that is outside the Act, it's also to support another activity within the Act. So it's governs everything we do. We use programs like iHatch. We use programs like We Elevate. We use programs like the Sandbox and all the other programs in our work stream to reach out to different ecosystem players, majority of which are startups. Sometimes it's ecosystem, enterprise supporting organizations like innovation hubs and the rest of them. And we try to, in some cases, offer capacity building and mentorship, connecting students with teacher, connecting um, connecting a mentor to a mentee. And then in other cases, it's not just capacity building. We are exposing them to opportunities by taking them along on trips to international conferences like GITEX, VivaTech, just to make sure that local talents are exposed to international opportunities. They see what the world is like out there, and they up their standard in the areas they have seen the gaps. We try our very best to also not be unrealistic. We remain anchored to what is the current situation in the ecosystem. So we often have stakeholder consultations in anything we're doing. We work with partner agencies and organizations like MBTI, NOTAP, and the rest of them that have work streams around technology and innovation. And these are some of the activities we do to strengthen the ecosystem. And at the very core, our work is to strengthen the startups that are creating great name for our dear country's local content. We already know of successes of some of these startups. You know, when we started having unicorns come up in Nigeria here and there, the world's attention turned towards us. And every time I find myself in an international conference, when I mention Nigeria, we are out there. People know about us. They may not know much about us, but they know that there is a thriving tech ecosystem in Nigeria, and a lot of them want to be a part of it. They are looking for support.
Mr. Victor, I don't know if it's my network or
engage
yours.
the ecosystem to drive our
Mr.
work.
Victor, could you
Sorry,
please
am I
remind?
audible? I just
Yeah,
heard you
got
trying to
muted.
speak.
You got muted for like 3 seconds. So could you just rewind just 3 seconds and keep going from there?
Sorry, say again.
You stopped at ONDI being a unicorn. The network got seized from.
Okay. I hope you have heard majority of what I said. I've driven my main points, which is that ONDI's innovation strategy centers around, programs that has to do with capacity building, stakeholder consultation. In some cases, it's a handshake, linking up members of the network that would be stronger if they work together, and basically working with other technology-related agencies, both government and non-governmental, to drive the kind of change you want to see in our ecosystem generally. Thank you very much. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Victor. Your insight has given us a deeper appreciation of the intentional work ONDI is doing to create opportunities for innovators and entrepreneurs. It is encouraging to see how collaboration, strategic planning, and ecosystem development can come together to support the growth of Nigerian startups. Thank you very much again. And the fact that mentorship is one of the very strong attributes of ONDI, it's really impressive. And I think it's something that could enhance Nigerians and the Nigerian ecosystem when it comes to startups. Thank you very much again. So behind every successful program is a reliable data, careful analysis, and continuous evaluation. Our next speaker contributes significantly in this area by supporting UNDI's strategic planning through research, analysis, and performance measurement. His work helps ensure that ONDI's initiatives remain impactful, responsive to the needs of innovation ecosystems. Please welcome Mr. Ahmed, who would give us a presentation on ONDI's strategic vision for Nigerian's startup ecosystem. Mr. Ahmed, you have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all having a good day. Like our host introduced us, my name is Ahmad Sagir, and it's good to have everyone here. We're on the topic of discussing ONDI's strategic vision for Nigerian startup ecosystem, which I believe my colleague Emeka has already taken you through. To add to what he said, our vision is simple and is to make Nigeria the #1 destination for digital technology innovation in Africa. Under the leadership of the NC, Victoria Fabumi, we're officially positioning ONDI as the Innovation Command Center for Nigeria's tech ecosystem. So if you have been wondering what the Office for Nigerian Digital Innovation is actually doing for startups and the economy, you're in the right place. And hopefully by the end of the conversation today, you will have a very, very good understanding of that. My colleague will take you through what we have for innovators, how you can access it, and also benefit from it. We have different areas from capital and funding, infrastructure and legal backup, and also capacity building. So Mr. John will take you through all of that, and you'll have a very, very good understanding on how you can access these programs that we have on ground and make the best use of them so that you actually get something tangible out of them. So there's going to be, like he mentioned, a Q&A session at the end of today's discussions, which I will encourage you to be free. This is an opportunity for you. As you can see, the people in the room, you have Hajia Amina, you have Oam, you have John, you have Victor, basically the backbone of ONDI and the engine room. So feel free, ask questions, no matter how where it may sound, just ask it. You may not get another chance to have this type of people in the room. So ask your question. If there's a program that you've heard and you're interested in, this is the best time to shoot your shot. And yeah, so hopefully you make the best out of this. Our host here is around. If you need any question answered, even after the session, you can always reach out and the team will surely address it for you. That being said, I think Mr. Yari, you can take off from there.
All right. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Ahmed. Thank you a lot. As we've seen, developing impactful program requires more than great ideas. It requires evidence, analysis, and continuous evaluation. Understanding that works, measuring outcomes, and using data to guide future decisions are all essential to building a thriving innovation ecosystem. Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed, for proving that ONDI has gotten everything sorted out, because he has an engine room who is Mr. Victor. It has got research facilities and everything, and there's already a platform running to support startups. Thank you again. So our next speaker plays an important role in this process through research, analysis, and measurements. He provides ONDI with impactful initiatives and he identifies opportunities to strengthen startups and innovators across Nigeria. So please join me in welcoming Mr. John, who will be speaking on the impact and how what ONDI does with the data and how it supports startups. Mr. John, you have the floor.
Hi, good morning. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yeah, Mr. John, we could hear you clearly.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Mr. John, Amazing What John, and I'm in the Strategic Research and Analytics Department here in ONDI. And like he previously mentioned, most of our work is in the research and the data of the organization. So today I'll be speaking about some of the impacts that we have achieved here in ONDI. But before I do that, I will just have to say this a little bit. When we hear the word data, we often think it's the spreadsheets, right? Reports, numbers. But then basically data is simply the evidence that tells us what's working and what's not working. So I'm sure our audience today, we have the startups, we have students here also present. So I just want to say this, right? If you're building something, launching an app, doing stuff, without your data, you might think your product is a success, but then until you really go through what you have in your data, then you might actually know what you really have, whether there's a real problem or you're actually doing what you need to do and how you can fix it as well. So at ONDI, we don't just ask people how many people attended the program, right? Or what changed. What we do is we need to know what has been changed, what changed as a result of attending the program. So that's where we talk about our impact analysis and what's it's actually what we have done, how we've helped people. And for that,
Well, Mr. John, it seems like you're out. Your network is down. I really hope you aren't speaking from wherever you are thinking the network is good. Please, if you could hear us, Mr. John, could you rewind a little bit? Your network is off.
hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry, the network. So where did you guys stop hearing me? So I continue from there.
Sorry, John. We can hear you clearly. You well.
Okay. So I'm just going to move on from here, talking about the impact we had so far. I will start from 2025. We engaged about 1,600 startups across our programs. We had the We Elevate, we had the iHatch, we also had the GITEX Africa, GITEX Nigeria. We also had some other programs to both international and national. So we cumulatively we had about 1,600 engagements with these startups, and also we also had to reach out to hub managers too from the program of our iHatch, where we trained about 37 of them. So across the years from the iHatch program, we've trained about 70 plus hubs in Nigeria. And from the numbers, we have about 126 of them currently in Nigeria. And then we've reached out to about 70 plus. So I think we're going about 60, 70% of them. And the you can't hear me now?
Yes. We can hear you now. The network is back.
So sorry about the network. So yes, like I said, we've reached out to 70 plus hubs across the country, which is about 60 to 70% of the current hubs in Nigeria. And the plan is by the end of 2027, we should have covered that particular bit and also help to develop new hubs in Nigeria, which is evidence to help scale startups and build the ecosystem. And also we have reached out to these startups from our incubation programs, and across the iHatch program, we've actually worked with 300 plus startups in Nigeria, and not just working with them, we've seen evident growth from some of these startups, and so far they have been moved from the idea stage to accelerator stage, and they are doing so well for themselves. And also we also carry out post-program supports for these startups, where we also help to fine-tune these products, what they have, and then get them to where they are meant to be. And also, by virtue of doing these programs, we also support indigenous startups, indigenous organizations, and um, companies to help them also boost their um, their products in the country. So, saying all this, I just want to say that at ONDI we are still striving. We have a mark to impact as much as we can. Um, we still have programs that we are trying to work on in order to reach out to especially the academia space, because from our data we found out that most of the ideas that we see come from, let's say, research from schools. You could see people with their final year project, they do good research work, but we don't have good research commercialization, and we are trying to see how we can move into that market. And this is because we have looked at the data and we've seen that this is a new space to actually delve into. So for students who are here as well, I would encourage you to keep an eye on ONDI and see, because very soon we'll be coming to your schools one way or the other, maybe your schools or maybe the research institutions close to your schools or your states, because we want to see how we can harness most of our research work and see how we can implement them to help build the ecosystem. And to our founders also, an inspiring.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Mr. John. That was really impactful. Thank you a lot. I'd like to bring back one speaker before we move into the legal sector. I'd like to bring in Mr. Victor, who is going to be talking to us again about how they can actually engage, how startups could actually engage with ONDI, and then the benefits they could get from its support. Mr. Victor, you have the floor.
Hi, sorry, am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I'd like us to focus on what many startup founders are very eager to know, which is how they can actually engage with ONDI and the benefit they get from ONDI support. Mr. Victor?
Hello, can everyone hear me now?
Yes, clearly.
Okay, thank you. So very quickly, I would say the programs that ONDI has, they're not limited. There are quite a lot of them, spanning across different areas or stages of growth of startups, different kind of stakeholders being engaged. One of our most popular programs is the iHatch program, where we offer pre-incubation support for startups who are still building their MVP and prototype, whichever case applies. And we also have programs like the Sandbox program, which is a subset of the broader NSA, group of programs, where we have created a unique environment for startups whose products have a lot of interaction with different regulations, some being unfavorable and all. They're able to test their programs or test their products within the sandbox and determine how viable such product or service would be out there in the real world. So the SRE team is driving that work stream, and there are several other programs as well. We have the Access to Capital, where we had the Venture Capital Analyst Training Program in Lagos 2 months ago, where we tried to put some weight into increasing the knowledge gap that exists in our investment ecosystem in Nigeria by equipping more people with venture capital analyst skills. And that program was successful. We are currently doing some other post-program activities to make sure the impact is sustainable. So we have different programs. If you go on the ONDI website, you would be able to see and read about some of them. You get a good idea of some of the things we do and know which one is most applicable to you that you may want to key into. One major way that anyone out there can benefit from ONDI program is by following us on our social media. That is the best channel of announcements we use. We're on IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. You can search ONDI Nigeria together and you will see the option. You will see our logo there, and you can just follow us so that any announcements we make calling for expression of interest or calling for applications, you will be aware of it. And if it's applicable to you, you apply. If it's not, you can share with members of your network. Another way you can have access to some of the benefits that come with knowing ONDI is by being signed up on the Startup Nigeria portal. And now there are benefits that are unique to labeled startups under the Nigerian Startup Act. There are only these incentives, these benefits are only available to startups that are labeled. And the only way to get labeled is by going to startup.gov.ng right now and filling up your application to register and apply to be a label startup in the Startup Nigeria portal. Now that way you would have access to all the incentives that are explicitly stated in the Nigerian Startup Act. So these are just some of the general ways, and these are also some of the programs we're running. We have a lot of other stuff that are not directly in front. Some of our work is a background work. Not all our work involves, startups. Some as, policy advocacy, which involves some other sister agencies. But be rest assured that if you are following us on our social media and you are signed up on the Nigerian Startup Portal, you are well equipped or well exposed to see opportunities that are coming from our office. So looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much for your time. Back to you, Yari.
All right, thank you very, very much, Mr. Victor. The presentation has provided practical guidance in how startups can engage with ONDI and make the most out of the programs and opportunities available. I'm sure many of our participants have gained valuable insights into the support systems designed to help innovate businesses and help their startups. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Victor, again. Building a great product or a business idea has only one part of the journey. Every successful startup must also understand the legal and regulatory responsibilities that come with building a sustainable enterprise. Our next speaker will guide us through some of the essential legal considerations that every founder should be aware of. Business registration, from business registration to compliance to protecting intellectual property, very important, and avoiding common legal pitfalls. Please join me in welcoming our legal officer, who will be speaking on legal essentials for startups. Mr. Abdul Halim, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning. Moderator, can I know how many minutes I have to speak?
Mr. Abdul Halim, very much. Mr. Abdul Halim, you have a total of 10 minutes, Mr. Abdul Halim.
Okay, thank you, Yari. I would love to be brief like the previous speakers, but I don't know how we bundle everything I would have to say into such minutes. I hope I will be very brief. Thank you very much. My name is Abdul Halim Salis Shehu. As has been introduced, good morning, everyone. I'll be taking us through startup legal compliance or legal essentials that every Nigerian founder or startup needs to know. But then I would like to start with an opening salvo or opening shock, as I call it. I read a study that says 80% of startups fail within 5 years of starting business, which is a dangerous statistics. So the reasons for this failure usually is not that the startups don't have good products. They have beautiful ideas, innovative solutions. They make some avoidable mistakes, in quotes, avoidable mistakes. So usually they used to focus only on building the good product, maybe getting the funding, and trying to build a customer base and what have you. But they, in most cases, miss something very important. I was happy that Yari, you mentioned sustainability when you are introducing this me to speak on this subject. So they actually forget something which guarantees the sustainability of their startups, and that is legal compliance, because it builds that internal discipline in the startup, which uh, in return, it guarantees sustainability and it helps startups to scale. But the truth of the matter is that most startups, whenever they hear us talk about compliance, legal regulation, they don't want to hear that. They are mostly thinking of restrictions, lawyers, filings, annual returns, and also but it's actually beyond that. In fact, I would say legal compliance is part of the building the business itself. You can have the best idea, you can have the best technology, you have the great team, you may even get the funding you want. But if the legal foundation of your business is weak, the business will easily crumble. So this study, sorry, I forgot to tell you what the study says. It says second and third reason why 80% of this startup fail is they don't take compliance serious. They take the legal compliance for granted. So what is compliance? It simply refers to the body of rules, maybe ethics, practices, and standards. Can be legal, it can be governmental, it can be environmental, that startups ought to comply with even from the inception, from the get-go of the business. So we have two levels of compliance. We have level one, which has to do with ensuring that you as a company meet the necessary external obligations. You register your business with CAC, and I hope you all know that by our laws, CAMA specifically, Companies and Allied Matters Act, you are not even allowed to start business until you register it. So you comply with this external regulations, CAC, maybe register with FRS, and what have you. So I would say the first legal question that you as a startup should ask yourself is not how much CAC registration costs or what have you, but what exactly are you building? Are you building a technology company, a fintech, e-commerce, logistics, health tech, agri-tech, maybe consultancy, SaaS company? Because the legal obligation will actually depend significantly on what you actually do, what you are building. So some startups will assume that when you just register yourself with CAC as a company, you think that you're legally compliant. But no, it's a whole gamut of things which you will have to even from the beginning start to consider. Of course, CAC registration gives you that legal structure, but it doesn't automatically give you every license, approval, or authorization you need for your business. For example, if you're operating in a particular regulated sector, you may have to have additional obligations. So consider this first, then you continue with the business. So another thing I would, the last thing I mentioned external legal compliance, right? So the second level legal compliance is internal compliance. So when external legal compliance ensures that you meet the necessary external obligations, the internal legal compliance helps you to be a better company. So it ensures that you build your house well, you have your policies, you have your governance structure, you have your employee engagement contract or documents intact, and you have your audits, your returns, everything well documented and ready, so that at whatever point in time the regulator comes after you, you have all these things in place. And this actually helps you comply with the external regulations or external regulators when necessary. So another thing I would like to also talk about is founders agreement, because some of us or some of the startups think that or wait for dispute to erupt between them before they start thinking of agreements, founders agreement, shareholders agreement, and whatever. But the truth of the matter is that, you know, two friends can start a business together. Maybe three classmates also can build an app together. Even couples can build a business together. But friendship is not founders agreement, is not shareholders agreement. And trust is not legal structure. So at the beginning, you are excited that maybe me, I will handle technology part, you handle business part, we share 50-50. That's wonderful. But what actually happens when one founder leaves, for example? What happens when someone stops contributing at a point in time. Do you get? I hope I'm communicating. And what happens when, for example, a founder dies? How do we do with this percentage or shares and what have you? And when, at whatever time, an investor wants to come in, what happens at that time? Who owns the code? Who owns the trademark? And everything. So these are not questions you should start asking when the relationship has already started having problem. This should be addressed from the beginning, and this is what the founders' agreement, shareholders' agreement should address from the beginning. And it is not actually about you just going into the internet and downloading a template, copy and paste, adopt, and what have you. No, it has to relate to the context of your relationship. So, as much as we don't want to engage lawyers to do all these things for us, we still will need have them to actually review the this kind of things and advise us in the best way possible so that everything will actually tallies with the context and what we agree as founders or as partners in the business. Now, another important thing for founders or startups at the beginning is intellectual property. So I actually used to ask many startups this question. For example, if your best developer will leave your company tomorrow, will your company still on the app he built? So these are the things that if you do not consider, if you did not put in writing, maybe from the employment contract or contractual agreement that you will do with an employee or contractor, that everything your team creates while working for you belongs to your company, then legally you might not even have this thing might not belong to you. It might belong to them. Your logo, your code, everything, the goodwill you build for yourself for long will now be left in the hand of some people. So, and one funny thing about intellectual property, which we don't know, is that the most valuable thing they own as a startup might not be your office, might not be the furniture in your office. It might not actually be the main product you are building. It is your brand, the brand you are building, and anything that comes with it, because that is what represents you out there. That is what comes to that's what comes to people's mind whenever your startup or something is mentioned. Dangote, for example, this Dangote is more than a company. Is a name that resonates everywhere you go in Nigeria and what have you. So we need to take this very, very seriously. And the biggest misconception sometimes the founders have is that since I create it, I will have to own it. Yes, you can own it. Morally, you are the owner, but not always. If your developer created your software, for example, who legally owns the intellectual property? Do you get? He is the rightful owner, but he's morally the owner because he's the one that took the pain of creating it. But if he is working under you as a company, then it has to go to the company's ownership because he's working under you. But then, if you don't properly write these things, document it, things might be against you at the end of the time. So it's good to consider these things very, very carefully. And another thing I would also love to look at it, which many of the founders also don't take serious, is the contract law. Do I still have time, Mr. Abdraman? The contract law. So,
Mr. Hassan, you have 2 more minutes.
okay, I hope I'm communicating. So,
No, you.
contract, yeah, the contract law usually governs how people how two or more people come to an agreement, how they want to have a dealing together. So it's good as a startup, whenever you are dealing with someone, it's good to understand what are your duties, responsibilities, and what actually agreeing to. As I said, it is not always about downloading templates and adopting it, isn't it? It has to go with the nature of the deal, what you have agreed to. So every clause in your agreement has to reflect and relate with the context of the contract or of the deal. And let me emphasize more on this, because sometimes, especially we in the northern part of Nigeria, we tend to be okay with the oral agreement. We feel if it is my friend, then I don't need to write an agreement. Yes, but that might not always be the case. What if you have a disagreement at point in time? How do you prove anything? You don't have any proof as far as law is concerned. It's just, you cannot go to the court and start saying, this is what you said, this is what you says. You don't have any written evidence or proof to prove a point in a court of law. So it's very, very important that we take our legal compliance very, very seriously at startups. And as I said earlier, we should not be thinking that only the big companies are to take that serious. No, see yourself as already there. You start building the product and building the compliance with it so that you grow with it, so that you scale your business, and so that you build a sustainable solution and company. Thank you very much. I hope I was able to communicate and didn't bombard you with legalese. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Abdul Halim. Honestly, you have broken down the legal framework, and it's essential for every startup. Today's session has highlighted the importance of building businesses that are not only innovative, but also compliant and sustainable. Your input has made a lot of startups understand the use of law and policies when it comes to structuring your business, structuring our startups. We've now come to the interactive segment of today's webinar. This is an opportunity for participants, yes, everyone in the audience, to engage directly with our speakers. If you have any questions about ONDI's programs, startup opportunities, innovation support, or legal considerations, please post them in the YouTube live chat. I'll now invite our speakers to join me as we address some of your questions. Do we have Mr. Nazim? Mr. Nazim, are you with me? Mr. Nazim, are you with me? Okay, unfortunately, we don't have Mr. Nazim, but for the rest of the audience, I'd love for you to answer the next. One of the questions we've gotten from the audience is, what criteria do you use to select startups for your programs? Can we have Mr. Okay, Mr. Nazim, are you still here? Unfortunately, Mr. Nazim is still unavailable. Mr. Nazim? Okay, as we don't have Mr. Nazim, can we have Mr. John? Mr. John, please could you answer the audience's question? What criteria do you use to select startups for your programs? Mr. Nazim or Mr. John?
Hi. So I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you clearly. The question is, what criteria do you use to select startups for your programs?
Okay, so for that question, I think it's better assigned to Mr. Victor Eje, who is the desk lead for innovation and entrepreneurship. He has full context to that.
Mr. Victor, if you're available, we'd love to hear your input.
Okay, please give me the question one more time. Am I audible? Hello?
Hello, the question is, what criteria do you use to select startups for your programs?
Okay, so there's no fixed criteria for every single program. Every program has its unique target audience, unique set of participants that are required to participate in the program. So it is depending on the nature of the program, the decision on the mission of the program. For instance, I had target startups that are pre-MVP. They are still building their prototype. So in that case, if you have a startup that is well into their growth stage, making revenue, maybe already on the international stage, that startup will be too mature for iHatch, and so would not be suitable. But there are some general metrics that cut across many of the programs we are pushing. One of them is, of course, being a label startup is a very fundamental requirement, although not always compulsory, but it's actually a very positive, it's an advantage for a startup applying for any of our programs. Being registered with CSC is also a plus. Having at least one Nigerian founder within the startup's leadership. That is a core requirement because most of our programs are for Nigerians. The founders being over 18 years old, we definitely don't want to engage minors in ways that are not appropriate. And then we also expect sometimes that the startup is in a sector that is relevant. a very thriving digital economy sector like agri-tech, health tech, edutech, any of the very popular um, areas of innovation. That is, you're solving a problem that is relevant to, the current situation in our society, not that you're solving a problem that doesn't apply to the Nigerian context. So these are some of the high-level requirements in general. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Victor. I think that answers the question perfectly. But one last thing, in just 2 minutes, could you please tell us, how do you measure the success of startups after they complete the, let's say they go in for the iHatch program? So how do you measure their success? Mr. Victor?
So it depends on what we are trying to achieve. In this case, we have been asked this question sometimes earlier this week in an interview. Success means different things for different people, right? I think the most important aspect of success for a startup is that they have increasing traction, sustainable increments, there's growth in their revenue, sustainable as well. And then over time, their profit margin continues to improve. That will mean that the startup is growing sustainably, right? So that is one of the core areas of success for any business venture out there. So I wouldn't say we have any yardstick to discriminate and say this startup is not successful or anything like that. We simply approach you based on the stage that you are. We provide to you any product or program that is most relevant to your growth stage at the moment. So no, there is no single area we as ONDI use to judge which startup is successful or not. That is not already public knowledge. Thank you.
All right, thank you very, very much. And thank you very much to that subscriber who gave the question. Another question we got from the audience is, what common legal mistakes do startups make and how can they avoid them? I think this question is for Mr. Abdul Halim, who's in the legal sector. What common legal mistakes do startups make and how can they avoid them? Mr. Abdul Halim, are you with us?
Yes, I think I've spoken about that, but I think if from what I've spoken, if there are things that I would want you to remember that goes with the question is, first of all, from the inception, know your business. Know your business, what kind of business you're going into, and the laws that regulate it. So this will allow you to choose the best, type of company to start with from the registration. We have different types of business setting or company setting. You can have the sole proprietorship, which has its pros and cons. As a sole proprietor, of course, you have all the control of the company, have the control of everything. It's flexible. You can take the decisions yourself. But then the cons of it is that what should I say? Most of the investors or even agencies like NIDA or NDI that support startups don't take that seriously, because usually what will help the company or the startup to continue being a going concern is when you have more than one person at the business, because as they say, two heads are more than one, isn't it? So if you are only one, for example, the business, if the business dies, it dies with you and what have you. So you choose, your business and also the laws that regulate it, as I said. For example, if you are into edtech, so in addition to CAC, you will also need to know the regulators in that aspect so that you not just go out there churning out every content you want for your education softwares and whatever. You got to know, you need to know like the NERDC, that's the council that regulates curriculum, so that you know what kind of what kind of education content you build to make sure that it complies with the standards
Yeah.
and whatever. And also another thing, when
Okay.
you're bringing in like founders, put whatever relationship you have with the founders aside. Make everything in written. Have an agreement from the beginning. Do you get? Don't ever assume that this is my very good friend. We've been doing everything together. No, business is business. Put everything in writing, regulate it from the beginning. Then also, when you start building, or before then, even before then, it's good to also trademark your brand, because if you do not trademark it, someone out there can copy it and adopt it as his own decision, and you don't have any legal proof to show that it is yours. So CAC, sorry, are you saying something?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
So CAC.
No, the network went off for a second, but we can hear you clearly.
Okay, so CAC only registers your business, but it doesn't guarantee the
Mr.
ownership
Abdul Halim,
of.
the network was down.
Are you sure? Hello, can you hear me now?
I can hear him clearly. I think it's from your side, Yari.
So, identify all your ideas from the brand. It's your intellectual property, protect it, and also your solutions that you're building, your source code, your softwares, also properly protect them. They are all your intellectual property. As I said in my presentation, maybe you built your goodwill, you've started getting good reviews from customers and whatever, but then you don't have proper ownership of your softwares because you did not protect it. This is a very big mistake, because it is only when people start claiming your properties that you start thinking of what to do. So another thing also, use proper contracts with customers, suppliers, employees, contractors, and partners. And also another thing which I forgot to mention in my presentation is personal data of your customers, your employees. Take it very, very seriously. In Nigeria, we have data protection now, and they're very, very serious about this thing. So make sure that you take necessary steps to really protect personal data of your customers, employees, sensitive and the non-sensitive. Take them very seriously. Have a data protection or privacy policy, and do have notices for customers or any person you're dealing with whenever you want to give out his data and what have you. Also, keep up with
Unfortunately, I think Mr.
Hello? Was I audible? Hello? Hello? Please, can you indicate if you can hear me? Sorry. Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Abdul Halim, thank you very much. Sorry, my network went down for a second, but I'm back. Thank you very much for the presentation. Your
So
input was quite impactful.
I hope I was able to answer the question.
I think you were. Thank you very, very much. The next question we got from the audience is for Mr. John. Mr. John, I don't know if you're available. Mr. John, can you hear me? Mr. John?
I can hear you.
Thank you very much. Mr. John, the question we have is for you is why is data important in supporting startups? And how does ONDI measure the success and impact of its startups? And what indicators do you use? I think Mr. Victor has already answered that, but we'd like to know why is data important in supporting startups?
Okay, it's first of all, when you talk about a startup, you're talking about you have a business you're doing and you're engaging your customers. Um, Data is very important in all ramifications. First off, for customer side, it helps you to understand your customers. So data reveals who your customers are, what they want, and how they behave, and why they leave as well. Because every business has the fear of having customers who leave at some point, attrition and the likes. But then data helps you to understand the customers better. Data also helps you in improving your decision making too. So normally, what people do, they rely on opinions. They use their emotions to actually make decisions for their businesses, for their startups, even to the point of which market to enter and where to invest your resources and all these things. Data helps you to make the right decisions. So it improves your decision making. Data also helps you to measure growth because it's really not about how many products you've sold or how much customers you have. It's data is gives you a granular experience or a granular understanding or view of what your business is, what kind of growth it has actually gotten. So you talk about revenue, customer retention, active users, customer acquisition cost and the likes. Also, data helps to also attract investors. As a startup, every investor wants to understand the numbers or see the numbers of your business, of your startup. So whichever pitch deck you want to do, whatever you're doing, you want to engage an investor. One of the paramount things the investor wants to see are your numbers. That numbers involves your active users, your growth, whether month to month or year-on-year growth, your customer retention, your monthly recurring revenue and the likes, depending on the kind of business you do as a startup. And also, data helps you to also support scaling too, right? So the more you see where your business is, the better you can position your business for scaling too. And just to mention a few, these are the few I can actually pinpoint on now that you can say data helps you. So basically, it's very much important. It gives you an in-depth understanding of what your startup or your business is doing. Okay, so what was the next question again? You said talking about success measures, right? How we measure success for the startups, if I got that clear. Is that correct? Hello?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, so I think Victor touched on this before and saying we don't have any clear one to say, okay, this is how we measure success. It's relative as to the startup, but one of the things we would want to see, or we would want to see, especially after you undergo some of our programs or through our pipeline, you talk about first off, we would want to see an increase in your customer base, right? We want to see that, okay, by virtue of going through our program, you have reached out to more customers or you've accrued more customers. By virtue of that, that means we need to see an increased revenue as well. And also, by virtue of an increased revenue, this will also affect your profits. That also would want to see that you are expanding. We want to see that you're pushing your limits. Let's say we want to see that how do I put it? How do I put it? So for example, we see you came into our program, you had about 3 to 5 customers, but after the program, you're ranking towards 20 to 50 customers. We want to see that, okay, fine, you have about 50 customers, see your revenue, see your profits, and then if possible, we want to see you scale. So these are some of the things we would like to see. And by virtue of the program, you are in an incubation phase. We want to see that you've moved past that, you've gotten your minimal value products, that your MVP, you've gotten your products, and want to see that you are now moving towards the accelerator bits. Want to see that you've accrued funding too from investors or from governments or from equity-free angel investors and stuff like that. So these are the things that we use to see that, okay, yes, this startup is successful. Do I have another question?
No, Mr. John, and I think you answered your question perfectly. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The last question we have is for Nazim. Nazim, are you here with us?
Hello, Abdurrahman. I'm on here.
Yeah, Fado, thank you very much for coming. Could you please introduce yourself? I don't think you got the opportunity to at first.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nazim Nubamali. I'm currently undergoing the National Youth Service Corps program as an intern of sorts with the Office for National Digitization. And I'm here and there, and I've been helping around the desk in any way I can, adding value to ONDI. So I'm just here to share what knowledge I have with everyone listening and see how it can be of service. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Nazim. Honestly, you being here is quite the help. I'd like you to answer this question. It's from Mr. Clement Joel. He's one of the question is, how does ONDI benefit him as a startup? I don't know what he does, or he has not said anything else. So I think we could disregard that question. But then the question is, what opportunities are available for students and early stage entrepreneurs to engage with ONDI and begin building innovative ventures?
Sorry, could you repeat that? I
Nazim?
didn't hear you all.
The question
Hello?
is,
could you repeat the question? I didn't hear you all.
What opportunities are available for students and early stage entrepreneurs to engage with ONDI and begin building innovative ventures? Okay, I think in summary, what this question is trying to say is, how do people connect with ONDI? Is there a website they could submit their valuable product in? Or how do they approach? Or do they just come to the office and step in as an entrepreneur or a startup?
I mean, well, of course, there are channels that they would have to follow and probably apply to the IHatch program and see how far support from here can take them.
Okay. But what opportunities are available for students and early stage entrepreneurs?
as it is for early stage entrepreneurs, there are a couple of things that
Mr. Nazim, sorry,
I think.
say that again.
Hello? Hello, Abdurrahman.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. What opportunities are available for students and early stage entrepreneurs?
I mean, well, there are a couple of things that the Office for National Digitization is working on currently, like the National Digital Postcode Initiative, where we see deployments that are creating shared infrastructure layers where students with ideas that could leverage geographical information systems could come in and support a larger country nationwide initiative like the digital postcode program that has been developed currently. The students with, I guess, startups following that tech in that department as well, they could help the government in that arm, I think.
Okay, thank you very much, Nazim. Sorry, could you repeat the last thing you said? Our network went off.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Nazim. Yeah, would love for you to share the iHatch program platform in the comment section so that I would get startups who are there to be able to connect.
Okay, I'll get that from the team, then post it in the
Comment
YouTube.
section.
Yes.
All right, thank you very, very much, Mr. Nazim. Okay, I think we could just end this with one last question, and that would be for Mr. Victor, if you're still with us. Okay, Mr. Abdul Halim. Okay, then unfortunately, it's okay. Unfortunately, I think we're out of questions to ask. The audience feel it's sufficient enough. Thank you very, very much, everyone.
Abraham, were you calling my name?
Hello, Mr. Abdul Halim?
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me? We've got one more question.
Okay, let me see if I can answer it. What's the question?
Okay, so I'd like you to speak on behalf of ONDI now. Don't just speak based on the law aspect. I'd like you to tell us, as a new startup, think of it not from the perspective of a staff in ONDI. Think of it as a person who has a new startup, right? How could you approach ONDI, and how do you think it's best for you to connect to them as a startup, not as ONDI? Think of yourself as a startup, and what are the things you need to know before you come to ONDI?
Okay. So I will say the first thing you need to do is that, first of all, follow our socials, the ONDI socials, so that you'll be up to date with whatever program or anything we are rolling out, and also to properly and officially engage with ONDI. The most important thing for a startup is to register with the startup portal. So this is a platform that houses we're trying to get all the startups, the country on the startups, and through the platform, they'll be able to engage with not only ONDI or NIDA as an agency, but with any other regulator that has one or two things to do with startup. So for us, from the perspective of ONDI, if a startup wants us to really recognize him, is to get himself on board on the startup portal and join the Startup Consultative Forum. Through that Startup Consultative Forum, you'll be able to speak out, and we listen, because a startup forum is like a congress for startup where they gather, where they share insights, or where they share grievances and what they feel about the ecosystem, and where they can even put forward some suggestion and review. So you register as a startup, you get labeled, and you'll be properly recognized, and from there you'll be able to.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Mr. Abdul Halim. Thank you. I think most startups now have a way of navigating their way to contact ONDI. Thank you, everyone who submitted questions and participated in today's discussion. We truly appreciate your engagement. On behalf of the 2026 ONDI Service interns, I extend our greatest gratitude to our distinguished speakers for sharing their knowledge and experiences. We also thank everyone who joined us via the live stream. Thank you, and thank you a lot for the questions. Thank you for your support as well. We hope today's webinar has provided valuable insight into how ONDI supports startups and opportunities available within Nigeria's ecosystem. Thank you once again, and we wish you continued success. We wish you continued success in your innovations and entrepreneurial journey. I'd like to also add that this recording is being recorded and it's going to be saved on YouTube for anyone who would like to watch it after this. And if you are watching this wherever you are after this live stream, I wish you luck. And if you have questions, please drop them in the comment section, and we'll forward them to the speakers, and we get you a response. Have a wonderful day, and thank you very, very much, everyone.